Hello there, this is Carol from the Social Canvas, and today I'm going to be painting a water droplet painting in some fun colours. You can join in if you wish, or you can just watch. I'm using acrylic paints in assorted colours, mainly the primary colours right here. So I've got some white, yellow, red, blue, a little bit green, but I may not decide to use that because you can always mix yellow and blue, of course. Now the acrylics I generally use are Winsor & Newton, but I have some less expensive ones, which is Dahler Rounding System 3. I have a mixture of paintings. It's whatever I can get my hands on at the time. But with acrylic paints, of course, if you're just doing it for fun, you don't need to spend a lot of money. But if you're obviously a bit more serious, then you can go up to a better grade. And of course, Winsor & Newton do a professional grade, so that's something you can do as well. As for brushes, you can see I've got a big pot of brushes here. I go through a lot of brushes. I'm going to use a big brush for this to begin with. For my water droplets, I may go for a smaller brush, which will be like a small round detail brush like this. This is a large angle brush, and I may use a smaller angle brush like this. You see how small that is compared to the other one. Pot of water is always handy, of course, and I have a big roll here of paper towel. Kitchen towel, that's always good for dabbing on, cleaning, etc. So that's something to get ready too. So let's go. All right, first of all, I'm going to just get in there with some white. I'm going to start with a fair amount of blue and make sort of a lightish blue, medium. I don't want to make it too dark. So here I'm going to make sure I've got some water mixed in with this. This brush can get a bit fat, so just make sure you flatten it on the side and clean it every now and again. So I'm just going to go silent, kind of a swirly effect here. I'm going to start here and just swirl it round, try and not knock it off my easel at the same time. Now, of course, having enough water mixed in with your paint is useful because it helps the paint flow. So you do have to remember to keep going back in. So what I'm doing here is I'm picking up some darker blue as I go along, and of course when it's still wet is the best time to mix it in. But I'm also picking up a little bit of white every now and again because I want various tones of blue in that, and I'm going to try and make sure I can cover all of my canvas as well. Of course, working while it's wet, as I said, is the best thing. So I'm going back in to put some darker ring in there. And then I'm going to get a darker ring again, a bit more water. So I've got a little bit sticking on there. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to get that off. This is kind of really, I don't think you can go an awful lot wrong with this painting. So if you're joining in, I'd like to have your feedback. Tell me what you think. Alright, see, I'm just doing a half moon here, going off the side. I'm working on a 12 by 12 inch canvas. If I didn't already say that, I probably didn't. Sometimes I forget. Square is easier in this, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. Really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to come around here, just lift up my canvas a bit. I'm just going to get this little bit of an edge in here. So right down to my edges like that. I'm going to grab a load of white. So this is where I need my paper. So if I wipe off some of that excess blue, not wiping it all off, just some of the excess, wetting my brush again, and now I'm just going to get a little bit of lighter blue. I'm going to go over the edge there because I want to soften it out. So what that does, it gives it a nice soft line, like so. Side to side. You can come in like this if you want to. Just give that edge a little bit. Get some more white on there. I think I'm going to grab a tiny bit of yellow in with my blue. just a little bit, because I want a little bit of light, well, maybe not that, a little bit of sort of a lighter greeny blue. It doesn't matter if you grab yellow, of course, but the yellow will turn green if you're going over your blue anyway, so I'm just going to put a bit of that in there. So off he goes. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that around there. So as I'm going in, I'm going to try and keep this in the middle, because I'm kind of, doesn't matter if you do it off center, but I'm trying to keep mine reasonably symmetrical to my canvas here. I'm going to start putting in different colors, but before I do, I'm going to start at, I want to keep some of the blue in. So there are some darker blue elements to this here and there. I'm going to leave a little bit of a white line, simply because, I'm painting myself up already, it's because if you try and do a really nice bright colour like a yellow, it's very hard to do it on top of a blue because it'll just turn green. I may want to put one in, so I'm just going to leave a little bit of a line. And I'm going to add a little bit of red in with my blue. So here you go. It just gives it a little purpley blue, because I just want a little darker blue here and there. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of an edge. And again, I mean, it's a round effect, but it doesn't have to be in any particular shape or size, as in you can make this smaller, bigger, whatever. And come around the corner. Just use your wrist so you can make some. Now let's just start making some smaller lines again. The thing about an angled brush is you can sort of use the edge of it to sort of make nice corners like this. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make some more like this. Again, if you've got a darker blue already, great. If you want to make a darker blue, purpley blue, just grab some red on there, and I'm going to start adding some darker ones in like this. And sort of bring this one in here like that. This one might join up in the middle to that one there. And I'm going to join that one up a little bit like that. You see, sometimes you do have to step back from your paintings as well to see how well they go in, if they're in the order that you want them to be in. I'm going to add now a smaller, thinner one, I think. Come around like that. And a little bit this side. And like that. You may want to get a smaller brush as you're getting close to the middle. I'm going to try my best to make this reasonably round. And I'm trying to make it in the middle. I don't know if I've been very successful there, but I'm just going to, again, don't worry about any blobby bits. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for my middle section, but not yet, because I want to just continue with a little bit more blue, I think, just a little edge off there, and I think I might grab some more white. If you want to, again, if your brush gets heavy, just wipe a bit off, get some more water. I'm going to grab some more white here with my lighter blue, because I'm going to go back in and put some lighter blue in now. And I'm going to put that in again. If you want to leave some white areas to put brighter colours in, and just leave an edge anywhere you like. I'm just leaving little bits. And I think I'll put a lighter blue edge like here like that. And join that up a little bit. If it's still wet, it will blend, which is good because it kind of softens up any edges you've got there. Need a little bit more blue. I'm a messy painter. I should be called the raw artist because I really do like to make a mess on my palette for a start. And myself, it seems, as I'm painting myself up. But you know what? It's fun to do that. It's like being a kid. Which of course a lot of people haven't painted since they've been to school, so it's kind of like going back to your youth anyway. If you're joining me and you haven't painted since school, then I'm glad you're having a go. It's very therapeutic. I've got a little bit of classical music on for this one. Sometimes I have some upbeat music. Anyway. Let's see, again, you can add any bits wherever you want, and I'm going to continue to do that here and there. Make sure you cover well, because I can see my canvas through there, so I'm just going over that bit there. And let's see. I might bring a little bit more of that sort of light greenish tone in here. If you want a brighter green, then just add a bit of yellow in with it, and that'll really brighten it up. I'm going to add a few, I think, a bit later. Well, maybe I'll add a little bit now. So I'm grabbing a little white and yellow, because I've got so much green on my brush already, it doesn't really matter. Let's see what colour that turns out like. Yeah, I quite like that. That's a nice colour. I'm going to make sure I go in between some of these white areas, of course. So I don't want to leave those empty. I'm going to cover all this, of course. So if there's any areas you put in you don't like the colour, then you can always go over it with white and try again. I may have a little bit more of that yellowy green. Again, like it if you don't like it. Because sometimes, you know, I play with my colours and sometimes I don't like them all either. I'm like, ooh, no, that doesn't go. You just have to mix it up a little bit. Some of that green in there. A little swirl. I'm getting two tones on my brush now because of course I didn't wash my brush off. So okay, let me see. Okay, I am going to wash my brush off now. I can always go back to blue at a later stage, so giving it a good wash off in my water pot, and then of course I'm drying it off with my paperwork there. Alright, so you know, if you want to continue with a big brush you can, but getting into the smaller areas probably is going to be a little bit difficult. But first of all, I am going to go back to my blue with my small brush. So I'm going back to my small brush. I'm going to grab my kind of darker blue, so that's with a little bit of red. And I just want to start putting some detail in. Again, I'm trying to keep straight in the middle. So my little detail here, I'm going to leave. So I'm going to do a little kind of cut or a smiley face like this right in the middle. I'm going to bring that blue right down, rounding it out like that. And I'm going to give a couple of little marks right around this side, because in between I'm going to put some bright colours, I think. going to be white around there. I think I'm going to bring this blue line round. Small brushes don't hold a lot of paint, so you do have to keep replenishing that paint and water. Just going to put some dark blue over the top of that, a little bit anyway, like that. So I want to leave that because that's where a water droplet is going to drop in, right in there. And as I said, these are some of the ripples going out. And now, I think, okay, so what I'm going to do, still with my blue, one of the droplets is kind of like going to be over here, I think. So I'm just going to do again a little smiley bit. And I'm just going to give it a little oval shape. I'm going to leave that there for now. Of course, I want to wait for this to dry before I do the rest of my water droplets anyway. So now I'm going to go in and put some other colours in there. So as I said, colour-wise, it's up to you, what colours you like, because I think this one could really hold lots of different colours. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in. Now, as I said, with the yellow, you want to make sure you've got a clean brush. I'm going to put yellow and white together to make sort of a lemon colour. And I'm going to put some of this in where I haven't got any colour, because it won't, as I said, it will go a bit green if I put it on top of blue. So I'm going to put a few of these in. I think more towards the central area, so try not to lean in any of my paints. So just going to put a little bit of that in there, like that. It's very bright, as you can see. I'm going to put a little bit in here. You can pick and choose where you want yours. And I'm going to put a little bit in here, I think. Yes, that's probably about as much as I want in there. And then I'm going to bring some just on the outer edge a little bit, like that. Maybe a little bit here. Maybe I'll just go over here. You can see how it stays green because it didn't. Okay, that's fine. I can still see some of my counts, so I'm going to go over that a little bit later. So now I'm going to add a little bit of orange and red, I think. So I'm going to go straight into the red first of all. You can make this pink if you want to by adding the white, or you can go straight in with pink. Any of those colours really. I want to make a little bit of an orange, so I'm going to do red and yellow. That's going to be quite bright, I think. If you want to tone it down, you could add a little bit of white in there. That gives it a little bit more of a subtle tone. You know, it's always best to try out a little bit first before you go over it all, so that way if you don't like it, you can quickly go over it. So you see how that's quite orange. Can't decide if I like that or not, but I'm going to bring some in here, like that. That's a nice bright colour. And I'm going to bring some in here. I'll have to go over my water droplet. And go a little bit right in there, except for this area. Don't want to do that bit there. And a little bit down here. Cover all that area up there. Like so. And a little bit more out here. As you can see, I'm always making that round shape. Did I tell you I'd gone to my small brush? Hopefully I did. Maybe I didn't. Apologise if I didn't. Right, I'm going to come out here now as well. Again, you don't have to do these. See how I'm making this one here? I'm going in and out of those shapes, but I've sort of given it a little bit of a wobble down to the middle there. That's okay. It does not matter. It's fine. Okay, so I think I'd like to do some red as well as orange, so I'm going to wash my brush off, go to my red, like so. This could be quite bright, this red, so I want it again. If you don't like it bright red, you can add a bit of white into it. Actually does cover a bit better if you just do the red. So I may or may not like it, but I'm going to try it out. And if you want to leave some white, by the way, I'm going to leave some white as areas as well, because I want it's just easier to go over them. Keep the white nice and clean. So, okay, so there we go. And now see how red that is. It's quite red, isn't it? What I'm doing here is I'm actually going right in the middle of that orange bit with red. I'm not going all over it, I've just gone in the middle of it. And I'm doing the same here. Sometimes it's best to wait for it to dry. Oh my goodness. Music's getting going here. Might bring some of that red on my outer circle here, like that. And I might put a touch of white in with it just to make it a little bit more subtle. If you want to make a very soft edge, grab a load of white and just go over your edge of your colour with the white and sort of soften it out a bit. Of course, when you're going over a dark colour, if you're going over your blue, for instance, the edge of that blue, when you put the white on, will turn very dark. So I've just brought that out there a little bit, see? Yes, this is fun. I'll bring that red, that pinky red, all the way down. A little bit right on my outer edge. I can leave that off there then. Okay, back to my small brush. I want to go back in here now. I'm going to put some of the red in there too, with my orange. I'm going to leave some of the white. And I want to leave that a bit free on the top, so I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so here we go with some white. Now, the thing is, if you're using it while the paint is still wet, the white will not obviously stay white. It will blend with whatever colour is still wet, so like the red. So this is where you have to be careful. But if you want it to blend, that's fine. But I just want the white to show up a little bit. Yes, I'm painting white on white, but sometimes that just is. But I tend to cake it on a bit more, so put it on a little bit thicker. I know I haven't painted this edge, so it's okay to go over it with the white. So, of course, your white, as I said, needs to be clean, and so does your brush, because if your brush has got any other colour on it, it's also going to blend. So right in that middle bit, I'm just going to put that paint in there. I want it to be a nice round. Just coming outside my line, doesn't it? Coming down there as well. What I want to do is, because I'm going to do 2 big water droplets, so I want a nice dark background for that. So that's important. And then I'm just going to go in and out cover some of these areas with white. You can also do pale blue if you don't want to do it all white. I may add a bit more pale blue into this because I think it's got a lot of white in it that doesn't need to be. And you can see how going over the edges really softens up any colours there. I'm going to grab a little bit of pale blue back again. Very pale blue really. I'm washing my brush off because I've still got some of the pink on it. Be careful with that. I could go back on aqua, any of those colours really, but I just wanted a very pale blue. So. And any areas, as I said, that you have not covered, you can go back and put a little bit of colour over the top. Doesn't have to be the same colour. I've got, you see the light blue here, and I'm just going over some of those areas that didn't cover earlier. Just try and keep your line going in the right directions. And all should be good. Okay, it's looking good. I'll just put a little bit of blue back in here. And this little area that I've got here, I might just wash my brush off a minute, grab a little bit more blue. A little bit of red to make it darker. I'm going to just bring this edge up to the bottom of that cup like that. And also just put a couple of more blue. I went over that a little bit too much, got overexcited there, so just going to put those blue lines back in there. And a little bit more blue back in here. That's why I said you can keep playing with this, of course, until. But step back and look, because it will give you a perspective of if you like it or not. And also, always encourage people to take a picture of it, because that's another way of finding out if it looks good to you or not. But I'm going to just add a few more elements, and I'm going on to my water droplets next. Yes. So that's why I wanted to leave this area nice and dry in the middle. So first of all, white is very important. I've run out, so I'm just going to grab some more. My small brush. That didn't mix very well. We'll shake shake your tubes if they're not coming out as well. That one's a little bit watery, so I may have to try a different one at this stage. A good white is always essential, so I do recommend buying a decent white. Medium grade rather than a student grade white is good. So I'm going to try and bring mine in line with my where my water droplet end is. I'm actually going to just go over that little kind of droplet there. First of all, I'm going to make a round circle. Like that. Best I can. I might leave an edge loose. Well, actually, no, I might not. I'm going to bring some more white into side of it, like that. I'll probably need to go over this a few times to make sure it's nice and round, and also make sure the white shows up. And then I'm going to do Ooh, I don't know if I'm quite in line with that. I'm trying to keep it in line. You can always make it bigger and bring it over the side if it's not in line. And another one is following up here. Again, I'm trying to keep it in line with that one this way. It's a little bit bigger. You could always pencil in a circle. Use a coin if you can't quite make it. If you can't quite get a circle. Not as easy as it looks, is it? Again, you see how I'm making an uneven circle, like I'm bringing some of the white marks in, like putting a blob in there like that. And, you know, you can put as many, of course, as you want here. I might just add a small one about here. I'm aiming for that little bit there. I'm just going to actually bring a little line in between the blue there. Okay, so now we've got that in. What we're going to do is replicate some of the colours that are in here in the actual bubbles. So I'm going to grab some different tones and just plonk a little bit here and there in, oops, not with my wet brush. So for instance, any of the colours that you do, I would suggest you put a little bit of white in with it because it may not show up as well on a blue background, especially the orange, red, I mean the red and the yellow. So put a few reds in there. Just a blob, any colour. And put a little bit of yellowy green in there. Which honestly, if you just use yellow with a little bit of white in, it will turn out green because you're painting on a blue background. So that is easier. It may look yellow when you put it on, but it will sink into that tone there very easily, quickly. Okay, how does that look? Yeah, I'm going to grab some of the dark blue now. I want to put a little bit of that in the background. So I seem to keep using all my blues. I need to get some more. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there so I've got a little darkness in the bubble. Just make sure you leave some of your white edge rather than going all over it. So that it still looks like a circle, of course. Okay. Well, that looks joyous. Joyous. I can't say the word. Right. This, of course, when you're going over white, it's not going to bullet. It's going to blend in a little bit. But so you do have to be a bit more careful with where you put the paintbrush there. Right, some bubbles. Okay, let's see if I'm satisfied. I think there's a little bit of white here that I'm not so happy with, so I might have to put another colour in there. It looks a little bit too light, so I think I'm just going to go back in and put some kind of aqua blue in there. Wow, so pretty much finished. As I said, it's quite quick painting this one, but as I say, you can sit and have fun with it, with your colours and your shapes even. You know, you can add all sorts of colours in there, purple, pink, etc. My little middle section here, I'm just going to fix a little bit. I think I need a little bit more colour around this side, so That's what I'm saying. You can keep looking until you see, until you get it how you like it. But if you've got it how you like it, as I said to people, do not keep playing with it, because you will get to a point where you've gone too far. So don't touch it anymore. I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow back in there. And maybe a little bit here. And that's it. That's where my water droplet is going for. One's already been and on its way out, so to speak. This one here. And there you go. I'm going to put my name on the side. Whatever. I'm just going to do it on white. A small brush is always handy, of course, to do this with. Mine's a little bit big. I'll just put my initials in the corner. And there's a quick water tutorial. As I said, if you want to go ahead and practice and do another one, by all means do. Leave me a comment. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. There's a little subscribe button at the bottom. And if you like my paintings, go to www.thesocialcanvas.co.uk. I do in-person events, and also, of course, I have a Facebook page, The Social Canvas UK. Love to see you there. See you soon.